All right, so killing of a patriot protester in Portland has caused a great deal of civil unrest.
Portland. Why some pundits are concerned this may indeed escalate into a civil war, and how voters have begun to abandon the Democrats in droves as they put the blame for this social unrest squarely on the side of the political left. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. If this is your first time here at this channel, I post 2 videos a day analyzing current events, analyze some super awesome conservative trends so we can all live in the present light of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button to be.
All right, so let's get on with this. All right, so what's going on, Steve?
Mayor who has deliberately abdicated his law enforcement duties over the last several weeks of chaos that's overrun the city of Portland. And that stand, unfortunately, turned deadly. One of the patriots, a conservative Trump supporter, was shot and killed in cold blood on Saturday. Tim Pool went a step further. I mean, he came out and just said bluntly that this Trump supporter was flat out executed. He was blatantly executed. The victim has been identified as a Patriot Prayer supporter by the name of Aaron Danielson, who went by the nickname Jay Bishop. And President Trump, in fact, tweeted out his support and his condolences for him, writing, "Rest in peace, Jay." A suspect in the shooting has also been identified. He is an Antifa radical by the name of Michael Ryanol. He was reported to having yelled out, "We've got a Trump supporter here," before 2 gunshots rang out and Jay lay dying. So as of the making of this video, he's still at large. Now, needless to say, the far left, particularly on Twitter, announced their support and celebration of the murder. In fact, one BLM activist could be heard on site in Portland declaring to a crowd through her blowhorn, "I just got word that the person who died was a Patriot Prayer Trump person. He was an effing Nazi. Our community held its own and took out the trash. I'm not going to shed any tears over a Nazi." Now, that's about as dehumanizing of language that you can get. If the left has profiled you in a particular way, we now know that your life is no longer sacred. It's no longer worthy, and your death is not worthy to be mourned. I mean, this is serious stuff, gang. It really doesn't get more provocative and more escalatory than this. And that is why we are now seeing pundits publicly coming out and saying it really does look like we're entering into a civil war. Now, I'm thinking in particular of a piece in the Philadelphia Inquirer by a fellow by the name of Will Bunch, who sees the events over the weekend as shifting into overdrive what he considers President Trump's scheme to get reelected by instigating a civil war in our nation. So obviously this is another left-wing activist disguised as a journalist. So there are a dime a dozen today. But at least he recognizes, I think he understands what's happening to our nation, at least in microcosm, when it comes to the chaos overrunning our left-wing city of Portland here. Needless to say, it's a hysterical piece. This fellow likens the patriots that are standing in the gap, again, to this feckless and failed mayor of Portland. He likens them to the Taliban launching a jihad. This is what passes for journalism today. According to this so-called journalist, Portland is an American city where peaceful protests, boy, we hear that phrase a lot, don't we? Forget the fact that CNN's Chris Cuomo asked rhetorically, whoever said that protests were supposed to be peaceful, right? But he writes that Portland is an American city where peaceful protests for racial justice are often overshadowed by extremists, get this, of the far right. Extremists from the far right, from the far freaking right, overshadow peaceful protests for racial justice. Now, he does add, and the far left, but it's just hilarious that after what we've seen over the last 3 months, he would have the goal.
It sickens me. It sickens me. We are in serious trouble, and I'm afraid we could get spots of serious civil unrest.
All to give priority to the far right over and against blaming the far left. It's beyond comprehension. But Nevertheless, he does recognize that this is a significant escalation in the tensions between, I would argue it's not so much between the left versus right, but more between social justice warriors and woke agitators on the one hand, who hate our nation, its history, its traditions, its culture, its customs, and patriots who love their nation and history and traditions and culture and want to save our nation. And indeed, it's looking more and more like the exurb versus urban civil war in the making. Now, again, conspiracy theories aside, this guy thinks this is all a ploy for Trump to get reelected, that Trump and the Republicans are actively celebrating vigilantism. Now, he, of course, omits the fact that Democrat-dominated city councils like the one in Seattle actually threatened their mayor, Durkin, with impeachment if she didn't side with the rioters and protesters and looters. The city council is so far left, they are so filled with Marxist revolutionary fervor that they had the gall of threatening the mayor with impeachment if she actually tried to enforce the law. So I don't...
We're in serious trouble. I'm going to end it here. It sickens me. I'm not going to go any further. But beware. There's going to be more bloodshed, and there's going to be more civil unrest, and the police will have to choose sides, and they will, and the protesters are going to have to be arrested and prosecuted for the crimes and murders, or this country is going to be torn apart. George Martin, Village, Montana. Good day.